2026. At this time, I'll ask City Clerk Beth Davis to please call the roll.
Commissioner Jeff Sanford.
Here.
Commissioner Sharon Neesmith. Here. Mayor Tom Watson.
Here.
Commissioner Curtis Maglinger.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bob Glenn.
Here.
Thank you. At this time, if you're able to stand, please stand for the invocation and the pledge by Mayor Pro Tem Bob Glenn.
Bow your heads with me for meditation or prayer, whichever is your choice. Dear Heavenly and gracious Father, we come together tonight to deliberate the people's business. We hope that you'll be with us and help us to make good decisions that are pleasing unto you and to our community. Lord, we're in the midst of an armed conflict involving our soldiers and military personnel. Please bless and protect them as they go forth through the hostilities in the Middle East, Lord. And Lord, we'd also ask for a quick resolution to that conflict. Lord, we'd ask you to lift up our city. We've been blessed in so many ways. Help us to continue to move forward as a community and to progress and to be a great place to live, work, and retire. We thank you for all you provide, Lord Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
And now the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, last time. Okay. Next item on the agenda, the presentation from our fantastic Owensboro Police Department's annual report. Deputy Chief J.D. Winkler.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. I see y'all have a full agenda, so I'll be brief, so y'all can get on with it. Appreciate the opportunity to talk about our department. We say it every year, but I'm very proud of what the men and women of the department do day in and day out. Our call volume, 35,383 calls for service, 13,720 traffic stops. Patrol also assisted in 131 search warrants and supported 46 special events, including Friday After 5. Those special events took 501 officers to cover those, approximately 2,000 manpower hours to cover those events. So they're staying busy. The calls for service has stayed pretty consistent over the last several years, but the special events has increased, and it's making this community better. I'm glad that we have them, but it does take a lot of manpower to cover those. This doesn't include some of our secondary employment that the officers work as well, like football games and basketball games. So there's other things on top of this that they do, but we stay busy every day. I'll move on to our Part 1 property crimes and violent crimes. Basically, the Part 1 crimes, the FBI has a way of categorizing crimes into Part 1 and Part 2. Your Part 1 crimes, I don't want to say they're, generally speaking, they're the more serious crimes, but there's more detailed reporting that goes into them. Part 2 crimes, we don't report as much data outside of arrest data. Your Part 2 crimes would be prostitution, gambling, public intoxication, some of the lower level crimes like that. As far as our Part 1 crimes, a general trend over the past several years has been down, and we're glad not a significant drop, but it has been consistently dropping for several years. That's property crimes and violent crimes. As I'm looking through this stuff, I know I try not to look at social media very often, but we're kind of stuck with that. But I can't say that it bothers me every time I hear somebody say or read that Owensboro is not safe or Owensboro is getting worse. I say that if you read the articles that the Messenger puts in about the crimes from 100 years ago and the stuff like that, and you look at how violent Owensboro was when we was at a third of the population that we are now, we're in a much better spot. I can say there is not a place in this community that I wouldn't trust my family to be at, that I wouldn't walk to and feel safe. This is a very safe community. Move on to let's see. Sorry, I can't see real good. I didn't have my long range glasses on yet. Our clearance rates, as you can see, we're up here around 67% for violent crimes and 38% for property crimes in the Part 1 category. Last year, I believe I told y'all, we shoot for 100%. We're still shooting for 100%. I think it's slightly lower. I think it's 71, 72% on our clearance rate last year. Still good compared to the state and the nation. When it comes to solving these crimes, I talked about the calls on the first slide that we go to. It's not when officers respond to a call. It's not we're finished when we leave. A lot of crimes, not all of them, but a lot of these calls, there is hours, dozens of hours, sometimes hundreds or even thousands of hours that goes into an investigation to get these crimes cleared. So I'm proud of what our folks are doing, but we're always striving to get better, and we'll keep plugging away. Some of the stuff that our criminal investigations division did, and I want to put this in because there's quite a bit of things that our community is fortunate that the Owensboro Police Department has. I have the number of fingerprints that we collected, our digital forensics unit, and the stuff that they did. Our internet crimes against children investigations. I'm proud of what CID has done with that. I'll say this too. They have, and I'm sure that people have noticed that there's been quite a few arrests that we've made with those investigations. I'll say that that doesn't necessarily mean that we have more of that crime in Owensboro than anywhere else has, but that is one thing that I will say: we are investigating it, and not everywhere else is. And so. Don't just assume because we're making arrests for crimes against children and some of the internet pornography or child pornography crimes that it doesn't happen everywhere, but we don't want it happening in Owensboro, and we're doing everything we can to address that. Our street crimes unit, 7 federal indictments, 8 pounds of meth, pound of cocaine, 13 pounds of fentanyl, and they're plugging away all the time, trying to make our community less appealing for the people that want to do harm and harm our citizens and fuel the addiction problem that exists. All right, professional standards. This year we had 46 investigations that included 123 possible administrative charges. I'll start with 26 of the complaints were external, 20 were generated internally. So our internal complaints, if we identify something, if a member of the command staff identifies something that needs to be looked into, it doesn't necessarily have to be generated from an external complaint. We'll bring it to the chief, and the chief will direct PSU to investigate it. I'll go a little further and explain in 46 investigations compared to the administrative charges. So an investigation can consist of more than one charge. So if somebody complains that an officer was discourteous, and during the investigation we determine that they also was speeding, that would constitute 2 charges with that one investigation. So when PSU looks into something, they do not focus on just the allegation. They look at the entire incident, and any mistakes that we can improve on, we work on them. I will say we're not perfect. We make mistakes just like anybody else, but we are committed to learning from our mistakes, correcting them, and doing the best we can to serve our community and getting better every day. Touch on our OPD graduates. I think we actually have one standing back here from Class 2. So they started the academy January 13th of last year, and y'all just got out on your own, what, about 2 months ago? October. Well, it's been 4 months. Time got away from me, but so they've been out on the street for a little bit now. We also had Class 3 that recently graduated. They're in the training officer phase. They're out there. I think that they will be coming out on the street in June is when they'll finish with their training officers. We actually had Class 4 started yesterday morning. So we're looking forward to that. I know that I'm seeing the seeing the young officers come in on their first day in the academy. We appreciate what y'all have done and y'all's support with helping us get that. All right, and I'm almost done. This is the last slide, and I wanted to put this in, just covering some of the stuff that the officers do. You know, the majority of the things up here, when I was looking through it, Operation Santa, Police in the Park, you know, coffee with a cop. A lot of the things that they do, that's not stuff that the chief or me or the command staff directs them to go out and do. It makes me proud of how much stuff that the officers that they bring to us that they want to do. I know Operation Santa, I think we're in 14th, 15th year of doing that and delivered 350 meals. And you know, the great thing about that program is officers get to bring in their families. I see kids this past year that were 5 or 6 years old when we started, and now they're adults, you know, that are still coming with their police officer mother and father and helping with that. You know, it's not in here, but you know, when they brought during the snow, of course that was a rough time for every street department. Had a little harder time than we did, but you know, when they brought to us that they wanted to take Cocoa, they saw kids sledding and wanted to take it out there to them. So it was it's good. That's what we want. That's the culture of the department, and that's one of the things that makes me proud that they're part of the community. That's what they care about. They know we're citizens first. Camp Cops, the youth programs, Golf Scramble, that it pays to support. We put that on every year, and that helps us support without the taxpayer dollars having to support at the DARE program and a lot of the stuff we do in the schools. And the last thing that I put in there, our Adopt a Schools program. That's not something that involves the school resource officers, but basically the officers, each shift, the sector that they're working in, the schools that they have, their Adopt a School time that they go there. If they're working on a day shift when school's in session, if they can, they go in, they'll see the kids, they check out the school, even afternoons and midnight shift. They roll by the schools. They'll, you know, check the doors, make sure everything's secure, and it's just free time when they have. There's not a whole lot, but it's when they have uncommitted time, they're able to get out and make the connections with the youth in our community. So I don't know what I was at. I was trying to stay, you know, at about 7 minutes. I don't know what my time is, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that I could for y'all. Nothing?
Any questions?
I have one question.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So what happens, we have quite a few drugs that get confiscated in the midst of these big drug operations. Do they just stay locked up in chain of custody storage, or do we ever have a point where we would destroy them once the judicial process is done?
They are eventually destroyed, sir. Once they're logged in, they go into our evidence collection unit, and they secure them. But we have to maintain them until the court process is through. After conviction, the judge sends over a release, and they're basically destroyed in an incinerator. I think I don't know exactly. I think it's somewhere around Indianapolis, but I may be wrong on that. But there's an incinerator where we take them, and they're destroyed there.
Okay. And I just want to thank you and your department. You did a lovely job during Jason Goddard's service last week, honoring him and being there for the family. Thank you all very much.
Yes,
and
sir.
everything you do.
Thank you, sir.
We appreciate you.
Chief, I just want to compliment the whole force and the leadership. You know, when I get around the Kentucky League of Cities, mayors, and about 4 out of 5 complaining, they get always complaints from the police department, and we don't have that. And I think that's part of your leadership and Chief Elam's leadership, and choosing the right folks to keep us safe. And I certainly appreciate it, and I know everybody else does too. Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Chip?
The officers do a good job, and that's our job to try to keep y'all from getting phone calls. That's my goal.
Just one quick, thanks, man.
Sure.
What are you seeing as far as trends on like drugs? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse, or it staying the same?
Sir, I don't know. I can say, I remember, I think it was 07 or 08 when I went to narcotics and I became a narcotics detective, and I told myself that within a year or two, I was going to be able to rid Owensboro of all drugs and get rid of that. But that didn't work out too good. You know, it goes up and down. You know, it's kind of, for lack of better terms, whack-a-mole when it comes to it. I mean, you know, we'll knock off a significant trafficker, and there's always somebody there to fill that void. And and I will say, our focus is, and I think that a traditional law enforcement focus, and there's still a lot of agencies that do it, is there are easy drug arrests to make. There's a lot of addiction out there. You know, we could go to you know, the Cadillac, and you can arrest people that are street level users, and patrol does, and we do address those issues. But our focus is transitioned to trying to stop the people that are addicted to power and money, and not addicted to drugs. They're the ones that are creating addiction, that are creating victims. And so our goal is to try to go to the source. And I can say our narcotics detectives, you know, I'm amazed when I see what they're doing. I wish I had those capabilities back when I was working it. But you know, they have worked cases all the way back to the source, being the cartels. They've worked cases out to LA, to Dallas, where the sources are coming from that are bringing it in here. And again, our goal is, we know we can't eliminate it, but we want to make Owensboro very unappealing for anybody that is sending drugs into our community and hurting our people.
Well, I want to thank you too. I know all the good you guys do, and it's not an easy job. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Proud to do it, sir.
One more. Got another precinct heard from
Another
already.
precinct. I just want to say, as a business, running a business downtown, we have lots of opportunities for things to happen. And I just appreciate knowing that I can call dispatch. Your dispatch is great. They ask the right questions, and they can also tell by the tenor of my voice or my employee's voice whether like they should already be sending a car or not. Fortunately, we don't have a lot, but the group that shows up is very respectful, and even to the person, you know, you don't go ahead and assume they're a bad person, for example. So I think it takes a lot for what y'all do, but it also makes me feel very safe that I don't have to worry about my employees or guests. So be sure and tell everyone thank you, and it is great. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Commissioner Magdalene?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm very proud to live in a community that is safe, and Owensboro Police Department, it's amazing. Thank you very much for your service and your protection. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, next item on the agenda is to consider approval of the minutes from dated February 17, 2026. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any further discussion, additions, or deletions? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, this will be a roll call for its second reading. Secretary?
Ordinance 4-2026, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 5 of the Owensboro Municipal Code relating to the Owensboro Human Relations Commission, read for approval on second reading this third day of March 2026.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, City Manager.
Yes, sir, Mayor. This is second reading of various changes to the ordinance creating the Owensboro Human Relations Commission, or the HRC. The HRC was created in 1972 in accordance with authorizing state statutes, and our ordinance has not been updated since 2001. The proposed changes are not substantial and are largely clarifications and cleanups. Changes include the following: changing references of the appointed board members from commission members to board members to match language that we use with really all of our boards and commissions. Reducing the maximum number of board members from 15 down to 12. The HRC board is larger than really almost every other board. And I think now we'd only have one board larger than this remaining. We would stagger the new terms of the board members, require that board members must be a resident of the community for 1 year prior to their appointment, and must remain a community resident for the duration of their term. clarify that the HRC is authorized to refer complaints to appropriate agencies, which is their longstanding practice. And finally, clarify that the HRC may, but is not required to conduct investigations into complaints that they receive. That's actually what the ordinance says now, but we're just changing it to make it more clear. So again, it's not really a substantial change, just more of a clarification in that regard. These changes have been made in consultation with HRC leadership, including the chair, vice chair, and the executive director of their organization.
Thank you. Any more discussion from the dais? Hearing none. How about the public? Anybody like to speak?
Yes.
Well, since we have such a group, y'all can select one to tell your own, tell the, so we don't have 15. So you guys select whichever one wants to go first. And
Okay, we'll let their side go first. We'll do a rebuttal. If there's someone in support, we're in opposition, so we'll go last.
so setting her up for an argument. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Dava Kelly. I live at 4631 Sydney Lane, Owensboro 42301. As board chair, we are, on behalf of the board, we are in support of these changes. They have not been revised since 2001. And we just want to thank the city for your support.
Thank you. You said you wanted to rebuttal them? Is that
Hi, my name is Glenda Wright. I have a law degree, unlike anyone else on my commission, and I believe, crowd check me if I'm wrong, I think starting 2 months ago, but it's really in December, I reached out to this board and said that my commission was breaking the law. I don't know about you all, but I can read the law, and I clearly pointed out how we're breaking the law, and you say there's no substantial changes, and we're just clearing up the language. Then why clear it up? Why just keep it the same? Y'all aren't breaking the law, right? So just keep the language the same. I also noticed that every time that this has been revised, somehow we always lose commissioners. This is a volunteer board. There's 14 current commissioners, 13 current commissioners, and Anthony Cobb stepped off less than 2 months ago. So we had an active 14 membership. So my question is at a time when discrimination and DEI are on the chopping block, why would our commission support watering down that language? Why are taxpayers giving over $100,000 of general tax funds to support something that is an option, while we go and spend $450 for plated dinners and we don't do any other real work? None of my commissioners have been trained in the last 6 months. I saw our paid employee at one of the trainings that I attended. I attended over 5 trainings. There's a significant issue with this commission. You all are reappointing all the 12 problematic ones that have been on here for years, and somehow the one with the law degree is the only one getting dropped, which is verifiable via the agenda. So I will continue to publish the emails that I've kept private, and I will continue to paint the picture for the public. And if someone had a case that they weren't happily resolved with, I encourage them to seek a lawsuit, because you all have every right before this law gets changed that they were not actively doing their job. So I congratulate each one of you all for participating in helping watering this down, especially when there's already a state law on the chopping block for this. So why do it now? Why not just wait until April and see if that one goes through? Because it's the same exact law. It gives the commission an option to do their job. But if not, then, you know, all of our poor citizens can just take it to the courts. I know our legal system. That's a joke. So I just want to say that there are substantial changes, and I look forward to the community still showing support and letting their voices be heard, because I know you all received numerous emails asking you all not to do this. This is the community. These 11 people are not. They're bought out members. So maybe we should be paying attention to the area right here, because that's who's going to be voting. Well, probably not, will not be voting for you all during the primary or general. So congratulations. Thank you for not listening to the public. We really appreciate that. And we'll continue to, as one person on my Facebook said, stay on y'all's necks. Thanks.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your address, please.
Oh, it's probably in the record, but it's on the right, 711 Jet Place. Just like every 2 weeks I've been coming. Thank you. I know you haven't been here for the last 2 weeks. You were on Zoom, so you might have missed me, but yes, I give it to the record every 2 weeks.
Okay. We'll have a roll call vote now, please.
Commissioner Sanford,
Yes.
Commissioner Neesmith,
Yes.
Mayor Watson,
Yes.
Commissioner Maglinger,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Glenn.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is approved. Next item on the agenda, it's the first reading of an ordinance. There will be no vote.
Ordinance 5-2026, an ordinance annexing to the city of Owensboro certain unincorporated territory in the county of Davis, adjoining the present boundary line of the city, being property located at 1205 Ewing Road, containing a total of 10.393 acres more or less, at the request of Regional Water Resource Agency, introduced and publicly read on first reading this third day of March 2026.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. City Manager, would you like to expound on this?
Yes, sir, Mayor, happy to. This is first reading of an ordinance annexing approximately 10.3 acres on Ewing Road. This property is owned by RWRA, and it's the site of their Max Road sewer treatment plant. Most of the RWRA property has been annexed, but this portion never has. You can see on the map there's the area in red that will be annexed today. If you see at the bottom where Ewing Road comes up, makes that 90-degree turn, turns into Medley, so you're probably familiar with the Max Road treatment plant. It's been there for decades. They've got some kind of project plan, and they're just cleaning it up to make sure all of the project, or all of the all the property is in the proper jurisdiction.
Thank you. Any other discussion from the dais? Any discussion from the public? Hearing none.
Ordinance 6-2026, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30, 2026, and amending ordinance 6-2025 to appropriate funds for elevator repair at the Allen Street parking garage, to receive and appropriate funds for the Ben Hall's pickleball courts, police officer training, and traffic safety, introduced and publicly read on first reading this third day of March 2026.
Thank you. City Manager, please.
Yes, this is first reading of a budget amendment ordinance. Items in the amendment include the following: to provide funding to repair an elevator in the River Park parking garage. It's been down for several months. To account for the receipt and expenditure of additional funding from the River City Pickleball Club, which we'll discuss in a later agenda item today. To appropriate existing restricted funds for police officer training. To account for the expense and revenue of grant funds and various corrections and transfers. We're really just moving money for tracking and budgeting purposes. Other than funding from the elevator, these are just kind of typical budget amendments that are largely housekeeping items.
I hope they'll clean it up when they're working on it, are they? Thing's awful. Any discussion from the dais? Hearing none. Any discussion from the public? Thank you. Item 8, please.
Municipal Order 6-2026, a municipal order declaring property located at 3140 Fairview Drive as surplus property and authorizing the mayor to execute a deed conveying tracts containing a total of 0.067 acres and permanent and temporary easements over additional tracts to the Commonwealth of Kentucky for the use and benefit of the Transportation Cabinet for the purpose of improving Fairview Drive. Read for approval on one reading this third day of March 2026.
Thank you. Motion to approve. Could someone make a motion to approve, please?
Motion.
Could I have a second, please?
Second.
City Manager?
Yes, the state has a much-needed project to widen Fairview Drive between Highway 54 and Settles Road. To do so, they need to acquire a small piece of property from the city. So this municipal order approves the sale of 0.067 of an acre. That's less than 1/10 of an acre, so it's quite a small piece of property. The property we're transferring to the state is essentially a ditch, so it's of nominal value. However, the state is paying us $1,000. So again, if you'll look at the map on your screen there, you can see Fairview Drive on the left. Those are the two retention basins behind the strip mall. You can see on the top in the white roof, that's the strip mall where Papa John's is located. And so that's property that basically is just for retention of water. And so they need to acquire that ditch there for essentially the same purpose. So again, happy to do that to facilitate a much-needed project.
Thank you. Any other discussion from the public? Hearing none, let's call for the vote. No. No roll call. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye. Motion approved. 8B, please.
Municipal Order 7-2026, a municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a memorandum of agreement with 700 Fredeca Street LLC, providing that the city shall pay 700 Fredeca Street LLC an incentive per residential unit built on property located at 700 Fredeca Street. Read for approval on one reading this third day of March 2026.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. City Manager?
This municipal order approves an incentive agreement for the project at 700 Frederica Street, which was most recently a U.S. bank, and a lot of people may remember it in the past as the Cardinal Federal Bank. The developers are renovating the building and adding an additional floor, so it's actually kind of a neat project. You don't see that very often, to have a floor added to the top of a building. When completed, the project will feature 16 residential units on the second and third floors. We're providing the same incentive for this project as we did several years ago for each residential unit at the Brio project on 2nd and 3rd Street, which is approximately $6,100 per unit.
Thank you. Any discussion from the dais? How about the public? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 8C, please.
Municipal Order 8-2026, a municipal order adopting the Community Risk Assessment and Standards of Cover of the Owensboro Fire Department. Read for approval on one reading this third day of March 2026.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve this. Could I have a second, please?
Second?
City Manager?
Yes, this municipal order approves the adoption of our fire department's Community Risk Assessment and Standards of Cover document. You might recall Chief Howard presented that element back at our November 18th meeting late last year. The document describes the risk from fire, hazardous materials, health emergencies, and more based on incident data and research by the fire department. Importantly, the document also describes the resources that our fire department deploys to mitigate those risks that are identified. A key feature is a multi-point plan developed by the fire chief to guide continuous improvement of the agency based on findings throughout the document. Formal adoption of this document by the governing body, or you guys, is a recommendation from the Center for Public Safety Excellence, which is the governing body for the International Fire Accreditation process, and that's a process through which OFD is going through now, and is hopefully will be completing that process next month. So again, this is just ratifying something he presented to you back in November.
Thank you. Any discussion from the dais? How about the public? Anybody want to weigh in on this? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8D, please.
Municipal Order 9-2026, a municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an amended partnership agreement with River City Pickleball, Inc. Read for approval on one reading this third day of March 2026.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. City Manager?
This municipal order approves an amendment to our existing agreement with the River City Pickleball Club for their participation in the pickleball facility that's under construction out at Ben Halls Park. The amendment increases the club's contribution from $500,000 up to $700,000. We do give the club an extra year to fully fund this higher contribution. However, as the previous agreement gave them 4 years, and they now have 5 years to raise this money. This allows the club to do a 5-year sponsorship term as they continue their fundraising efforts. We understand that that effort is actually going very well, and we appreciate the partnership with the club. It has been a good project.
Thank you. Any discussion from the dais? How about the public? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye, please.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8E, please.
Municipal Order 10-2026, a municipal order authorizing and directing applications for funds from the U.S. Department for Housing and Urban Development for various public works, economic development, and infrastructure improvement projects, including funds for Ohio River Riverbank stabilization, development of the Massey site, and the landing. Read for approval on one reading this third day of March 2026.
Thank you. City Manager, you want to tell us about the bank stuff on the river?
I will. And this item actually just came up really last Thursday or Friday. So just a few days ago, when we were contacted by representatives of, Representative Guthrie's office to submit projects for possible funding. They suggested that we provide various projects for the congressman to consider. The deadline to do so is actually tomorrow, so it is something that we tried to get together quite quickly. We plan to submit the development of infrastructure at the Massey site, which we've talked about several times, the landing, which is an initiative of the Economic Development Corporation, and then also a riverbank stabilization project. We're having some potential issues along the bank there between the Convention Center and Smothers Park. So those are the projects that we plan to submit for the congressman's consideration.
Thank you. Any other discussion from the dais?
I just had a quick question for the city manager, Mayor.
Let
That's
her
okay.
rip.
So what is the range of possible funding, Mr. City Manager? If, let's say the bank is a good one. I went and looked at it after our discussion about it, and that seems like they all seem like worthy projects, but that seems like it might be the most immediate.
It could be. I think we're submitting for that project a request of $6.5 million.
So we're talking.
So there was no cap on the request that we could submit. We did ask that of the congressman's office, and they said really just identify your biggest needs, and they would go from there.
And what's the time frame on a decision?
I think this is something that would potentially be funded in next federal fiscal year, which doesn't even begin until October. So it's not a quick process.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Manager.
You're welcome. Any further discussion, please? All right, I'll make a motion to approve this. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
And we've gone through the other things, so I'll call for the vote. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Board appointments. This time, I'd like for you to consider these board appointments, please. Property Maintenance Code Enforcement Board, appoint Brian Hedges to a 3-year term expiring January the 7th, 2029. City Employees Pension Board closed, appoint Sue Napper to a 4-year term expiring December the 31st, 2029. Thank you, Sue. Apollo Area Neighborhood Alliance, appoint Carly Roby to a 2-year term effective March the 3rd, 2026. The Dogwood Azalea Neighborhood Alliance, reappoint, I was going to say Mary Ann Steele to a 2-year term effective March the 20th, 2026. Housing Authority of Owensboro Board, reappoint Rick Searcy to a 4-year term effective March 22nd, 2026. Human Relations Commission, reappoint Rafe Buckner, Courtney Carter, Dina Salon, Chris Stucco, sorry if I messed that up, 3-year terms effective March the 15th, 2026. Appoint Anita Jackson, David Kelly, Eunice Taylor, Jean Vogel to 2-year terms effective March 15th, 2026. Appoint Chris Johnson, Lee Knuckles, Kabar Shafak. Is that close? My friend out there in the plaid jacket. How's that? Okay. All in favor? No. Mary Lou. Okay, Mary Ann. I've known her as Mary Lou for what, 50 years, maybe 40 years. All right. I'm lost. Where am I? And Mary Ann Steele. To a 1-year term effective March the 15th, 2026. Dugan Best Neighborhood Alliance, appoint Anita Jackson to a 2-year term effective March 3rd, 2026. And Wesley and Shawnee Neighborhood Alliance, appoint Tom Pope and Misty W-O-I-T-K-E. Wokey? Sorry if I butchered that up. A 2-year term effective March the 3rd, 2026. I make a motion to approve these appointments. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. City manager items.
Yes, tonight we have the following. They're all regular, full-time, non-civil service appointments. So these are folks who have completed their probationary period and transitioning to regular status. Joshua Sexton, Lieutenant, Fire Department, effective February 28th. Hunter Cavender, Joshua Hayden, Caleb Neiman, Samantha Stevens, and Ian Wilson, firefighter with the Fire Department, effective March 9th. And Dartez Ashley, refuse truck driver with Sanitation Department, effective March 10th.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any further discussion, additions or deletions? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. City manager comments?
Two items. First, I've been informed that there's a Facebook outage. It's not specific to us. It's a nationwide outage, so our meeting is not live streaming on Facebook like it normally would. However, the YouTube channel and our website are fine, so if you need to find this later, you can go to the YouTube channel or to the website. It will not be on Facebook, evidently. Again, not specific to us, but a nationwide outage. Secondly, I did learn today, according to the Government Finance Officers Association, today is National Procurement Day. So I just wanted to take a moment to recognize our procurement team, Kaylin Fox and Whitney McFarland. Of course, they're under oversight of Angela Waninger, so they do great work. So I just wanted to acknowledge them on their day.
Okay. Do we vote? We already voted. We're rolling on it. Going to open? Nope. Okay, number 11. Our next meeting will be, communication from elected officials. Mayor Pro Tem.
Just a couple of real quick items. Saw that we had a very successful archery tournament this weekend. Filled the convention center, got a lot of positive media. And I understand this is like their second or third year in a row they've come, and apparently they like Owensboro, so that's good. And then I was sort of excited to see we have a K-pop Demon Hunters like con event. And while that may not mean much to some of you, that's a really hot area of the music industry. So I was excited to hear we were attracting something that younger people would be interested in. So
Is that country music?
Huh? What is
Is
it?
that country music?
Not exactly, Mayor. No, not exactly. But there's a golden future in it, if you get the joke. All right, so that's it. Thanks.
Commissioner Maglinger?
Thank you, Mayor.
You want to follow that?
Thank you, Mayor. Glad to have you back.
Yeah.
No, after reading an article in the paper regarding some things at English Park, I've gotten some concerns from citizens, and I just want to recommend maybe slowing down. We'll give us some time to get some details on it. You know, I know we need some renovations down there, but I just want to make sure that our current projects are priority for our public safety. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Neesmith.
Oh, you got my name right. Good, thanks. I just wanted to say the Green River Food Warehouse is still, that team is still meeting. They have raised significant dollars. There still needs $1 million left to do. So this, I don't know, sometime in whatever I'm reading, Lowe's has a grant application out. And so I will try to get that information out on the, I'll get with Shaylee to get that out, where individuals can nominate a project and they will help with the renovation and things of it. So there's some guidelines and stuff. Some of the leaders of that project, I've alerted them to. So if you see something that says, a good reason why we should have our food warehouse, Green River Food Warehouse, you know, send a note. It doesn't even have to be pretty. Just say, hey, we need this in Owensboro. And for those of you that don't know about it, it's basically going to be a warehouse that will have freezer section and storage, and will supply, be open for the 30 pantries in our city that are that don't have that storage space. And those pantries will also be able to go to that warehouse once it's open to be able to get supplies or needed food without paying something. So it's a long-term project. There's been a lot of people behind that, and both city and county have supported it too. So you know, it's one of those things you wish it could happen tomorrow, but at least it's on its way. So so what I'm going at is, if any of y'all are just randomly reading something that says we need you know, if we get a grant, we'll give you, you know, $500 or whatever it is, let me or some of the people on that board know, because we'll do whatever that we need to make that happen. Thank you.
Yeah, we thank Steve Ennis You know, it was his project, and
Yeah. Yeah, Steve actually put together about 10 bullet points for me, so I will get those posted out just so everybody will know, so that when you write that letter and say, Owensboro, needs this money, you can say, here's 10 reasons why or something. So, thank you.
like you did, Owensboro Health donate them some land where it's gonna be located?
Not that I know, actually, no. Is that,
I think they're buying property that's kind of an
Oh, it's-
existing storage facility. We'll renovate and expand that.
Okay.
yeah, that was very good that we didn't have to build something new. We can renovate, so that's exciting. So when I heard Lowe's and I thought renovation, and the two kind of went together with hammers. So, thank you.
Great. Is that everybody? Oh, Jeff.
Uh,
Commissioner
just-
Sanford.
Just a couple things. You know, we have a tight-knit community here, and in light of things that have happened in our community the last couple of weeks, and then you look at the conflict in the Middle East, I think, you know, it's a good time to pray for our soldiers and other people in our community that, you know, are hurting. So, but I feel like Owensboro does a really good job, and I think we pick each other up pretty good when things don't go our way sometimes. So I think the power of prayer really helps. So I think we need to keep everybody in our prayers, especially our military right now. And,
Ditto.
yes. So
Okay.
that's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. For information purposes, our next meeting will be March the 17th, and will be a trolley tour of all the projects. So we can't take all of you with us, but we're going to go out and see what we're spending your money on. And I think it'll be, we did this a couple years ago, didn't we? Almost got in a ditch or something. Yeah. It was pretty tight out there going to the dump, wasn't it?
So we should wear tennis shoes.
Yeah, we're good walking shoes. Okay. How you doing over there, Ms. Davis? Good. All right, this is open public forum. Members of the audience may address the Board of Commissioners on any matter of public concern that was not on the agenda. Comments are limited to issues within the scope and responsibility of the commission. Commission meetings are held to conduct the city business for the benefit of Owensboro citizens, taxpayers. At this time, anyone who wishes to address the city commission, please make their way to the podium and be recognized. Speakers must state their name and address for the clerk's record and limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less. Since the item's not on the agenda, no response is required from the staff or the commissioners. Who's up? Okay.
Thanks, Mayor. Chris Stuchel, live at 900 East 3rd Street, Owensboro, 42303.
Thank you.
Just want to say that we're doing great things in the city, and I appreciate the work of you guys on the board, as well as the many city boards, including the one I'm currently reappointed to.
Can you speak up just a little?
Sorry.
There you go.
I'm not like Mr. Glenn over there. I'm not very good at public speaking.
Nobody is.
So I guess what I just want to say is, as we have all these things going on in our community and in the state as a whole, and the nation and the world, I'd like to put a call out for compassion and unity, as well as working toward a better Owensboro. Even though I'm pretty new to Owensboro and probably considered by folks to be an outsider, I've been here for a couple years now, and I've really grown to love the place. Greatly love working at the Neblett Center and the Patino Shelter, handling their finances, and getting to see the great work that's done every day through mission work of some really significant nonprofits in town. I'd like to extend my appreciation to the commission and the city for their support of all the nonprofits, including the Food Warehouse, the Senior Center, which you guys are doing great work with right now, as well as, you know, in the past, the Neblett Center, Patino, and et cetera. I don't know about you guys, but I'm committed to upholding inclusion and accessibility in our community in spite of, you know, any types of behaviors that come my way. And I just want to extend the love and prayer that this community is founded upon. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. It's like a barbershop. Next.
I'm next. Jamie Souders, 2411 Hayden Bridge Road, 42301. A little background as to what led me here tonight. One of my biggest parts of the job I do professionally, I do a lot of market analysis in the construction industry. So I'm always out checking jobs, talking to workers, making sure everybody's getting what they're supposed to get. I stopped at the new Board of Education building a few months back. Talked to some workers there. They were from Bowling Green, Nashville, down that way, working on this project. They told me they were getting paid in cash, which, you know, we all know that's wrong. Misclassification of workers is really a drain on our community. Every community, we're not the only ones that have the problem. Costs a lot of money. That led me to talking to a few of the commissioners, which in turn led me to Mr. Hancock. We were able to sit down and talk with Leland and Dana Coombs, I believe, is who we met with. Kind of expressed our concerns on what was going on. And it led me into checking a lot more jobs around this town, just seeing how many contractors are working in this area without a business license. If they don't have a business license, chances are they're not paying taxes, they're not paying the unemployment, they're not, you know, the workman's comp premiums are not being paid on their workers. And a lot of them are out-of-town contractors coming in. What I'm finding is, man, I'm getting tired of my tax money going to these out-of-town contractors that are not abiding by the same rules that our local contractors have to abide by. And, you know, it's in my opinion, it really hurts our community. It's taking tax dollars out of the base. These guys are coming in, they're doing our work, they're taking the money out of town. None of it stays here, none of it circulates here. It's just a bad deal. I have a list of 17 contractors that I've checked downstairs. Out of the 17, 2 contractors are licensed to do business in this community, out of 17. So what I have, you know, when we met with Leland, we talked about a responsible bidder ordinance for the city of Owensboro. He asked for an example that was being used in the state of Kentucky.
Please continue.
It wasn't really hard to find for me, for my job that I do, you know. I was able to pull one up. I sent it in. I actually sent it to all the commissioners and you, Mr. Mayor, yesterday for everybody to take a look at, in the hopes that we could possibly get something in our area similar to what I sent everybody. It was kind of weak as far as the language, and some of it may work, some of it may not. One of the things that was not in the one that from Marshall County that I would like to see in there is any of these out-of-town contractors come in, not only abide by all the rules, get all the licenses, everything that they need to make it fair for the locals to compete against them. If they can do all of that and still get the job, maybe we should make sure that at least 50% of the manpower is local manpower. That way it's keeping our people working. It's, you know, helping our tax base. And I don't feel like I'm getting ripped off every time I see a project going on with Texas and Tennessee license plates. So, any questions? Nope. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else?
If you thought what they said was harsh, I'm going to be fire, and I guarantee it.
Name and address for the public.
Billy McCarthy, 9154 Highway 405, Maceo. I have various issues I was going to talk about, from the riverfront homelessness, rental, temporary labor, Owensboro revenue, but I want to start on the Fire Department Training Center. I blame all the commissioners and the mayor and the fire department officials who were in office when they made this decision. Who made the moronic, idiotic decision to build the training center in a one-block area, landlocked with no room for expansion? Now, I thought it should have been maybe out by the airport where you could train on buses, maybe airplane fuselages, or rail cars for like hazardous material and fires. Now, this is where it's going to get good. In comparison, the police department's firing range and training facility has access to 352 acres. 352. How many acres does the training center have? 2 acres. That's embarrassing. That's absolutely embarrassing. And y'all allowed this decision to go along. Nobody had any other suggestions, and no one even fought against it. I mean, that is, I don't know, man. I mean, y'all, none of you should be reelected, in my opinion. If this was compared to, if this was a guns and hoses tournament, the fire department would have been a first-second knockout in the first round. Now, this isn't just, I did my research, and this property was purchased in 1960. How come the residents of Owensboro has not had access to this 352 acres during all that 1960? Does anybody? This is from the Property Valuation and Administration Office. These are their maps that shows the 352 acres, or this is a training center, and this is the 352 acres out in Utica. Y'all should be absolutely embarrassed. And y'all call yourself professionals. I only have a high school diploma. And I was able, you know, it's just, y'all are just ignorant. And
That's enough. Thank you.
Oh, wait, I still got, what, 29 seconds,
I get
right?
to control that. I'm not going to be sitting
Okay.
there being told by somebody that lives in the county.
No, that's fine. Hey, if you want to limit my free speech, you know, and I'm sure you will have a special meeting to limit people that you don't agree with, but that's all right.
We'll start it right when I get to the mic, please. Perfect. I'll wait for time to start. Hi, Glenda Wright once again, 711 Jed Place. We had a lot of people talk about God, but boy, I guess I'm the only one that brought my Bible. And look at this. Boy, is it a used Bible. I use tissues to read it. I get coffee stains on it, multiples. I know this Bible. So everybody want to get up here, talk about God. Well, I actually believe in God. God comes first. So I don't get paid to be on this commission. I've ruined my reputation by going against you all, but I'm okay with that. So I got something prepared. So here's my family. I'm from Owensboro. This is my family. This was taken at Breckenridge United Methodist Church when I was a little girl. I sang in the church choir. I'm from here. Chris, okay, interesting. He's here for 2 years, but we'll get to that. Okay, so this is my family. These are my roots. Okay, let's talk about an Owensboro Living article, because, you know, at 22, they were already doing profile pieces on me. I'm going to read just a little bit of that. Where there is a will, there is a way. Because, baby, I have not had an easy life here in Owensboro. Glenda Wright is a very poised, extremely articulate, and we'll end it with this. This is a direct quote from me at 22 about Owensboro, Kentucky. Even though I have been away from Owensboro, I have roots here. This is where my heart is at. I would love to come back to Owensboro, LOL, settle down here, buy a house, have a career here, whatever that looks like, because this is home. So this is home. You all are going to be out in probably 15, 20 years. Heck, I hope the mayor is, because Lord knows he's had his run. This is my city. So I have a really big problem with you and your little buddies coming in here and causing mayhem when it's my children. They're gonna have to grow up here. I'm articulate, I have a Juris Doctorate, I have a business degree. I think I share an alma mater with our city manager. So I'm gonna end it with this. My friend, after law school, sent me this. She is now an attorney, Constitution Litigation Clinic. Surprise, surprise, we both did that in law school because I believe in the Constitution. A lot of people here don't seem to. This is what she said about me. She wanted me to keep this on my wall, and I do. When we speak, we are afraid our words will not be heard or welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak. So I will end it here. You all should feel ashamed. Mayor Tom Watson, Bob Glenn, who's a Democrat, Sharon Neesmith, who is a stated Democrat, Curtis Maglinger, and Jeff Sanford. And then we'll just go ahead on to the back. Rondell Roundoff, who's running for office while receiving over 6 figures from this city board. David Kelly, who's been on leave for 4 months, 5 months, not seeing a word from her, and Lee Knuckles and Rafe Buckner, who sit on the executive committee and has never done their job. Thank you.
Anybody else like to share their opinion of us local officials? Okay. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
We are adjourned.